Hello, everybody. Good to be with you again. So I want to talk to you today about self-isolation because as it stands, billions of people around the world are cooped up in their houses or apartments or whatever, and they're trying to self-isolate, to keep themselves away from everybody else, and so that we can either flatten the curve of this pandemic or hopefully eliminate it entirely in time. So I just want to let you know, so because you may be like rebellious against this, you may feel like real itchy. I want to get out and do something. I want to whatever. Well, that's in the born world. All of that's in the born world. You're not actually in the born world. You are the unborn. And so let's talk about what's happening in your world. The world of the unborn. It's your world too, because it's just one. That's the amazing thing about one, except it's just one of them. So if I tell you that I am awakeness, I'm not talking about this unit. I'm talking about what's speaking through this unit. And it's not whatever's speaking through this unit. Let's remember, it's not straight truth because you can't tell anybody the straight truth. In other words, so there's truth coming out, but then it hits the Fred conditioning that modifies it by some percentage. And then whatever spits out is the truth plus the Fred spin. It can't be avoided. It's that way with everybody. We just want to notice it here and recognize it, so that we don't, make this out to be too big a deal or anything. So we could say that you've always been in self-isolation, which would be true because you're oneness, you are awareness, and there's nothing but you. So we could call that self-isolation, but what we want to notice is that there's not really self-isolation because you're not isolated from anything. There's nothing for you to be isolated from. There's only you. There's only this. And so, where would you go when you isolated? There's nowhere to go. There's just this as it is right now. So you can't possibly self-isolate. Now, that doesn't mean that in relativity that unit shouldn't be prudent and self-isolate and buy some groceries and do whatever it does. Go to work or not go to work. That's all in the born world. You're not in the born world. You're the unborn. See, the unborn can't get coronavirus because the virus affects organisms, and you're not an organism. We don't even know what the hell you are. Right? We really don't. I don't know what I am. I know who I am in the sense, in the mystical sense. I know who I am, but I don't know what that is. So, it's knowing true nature is not coming to know everything. Knowing true nature is really coming to know nothing. And so I have no quarrel with this coronavirus because I'm not smart enough to know that it shouldn't be here. See, I don't have any shoulds or shouldn'ts. I just have what is. The good news is that does make it much simpler for me. See, because when you're living as what is, but you believe that you're living in what is plus your imagination, now that is terrible. And it's going to be terrifying in the long run. Just is. You may have some good days as a unit, but the so-so and bad ones are going to outnumber them. That's just the way it is. That's the best hope for that unit over there is that it has a gentle death. But it's gonna die. There's no happy endings here, if you will. Not for you. So there's not anything but you, so there's no happy endings. So you can't actually self-isolate, but you can experience yourself as all of these billions of units cooped up in a house or an apartment or something and self-isolating. And now my house is paradise. So I'm perfectly happy to self-isolate here. Actually, I've been self-isolating for pretty much the last 8 years. 7 or 8 years. 8 to 9 years. It's a long time now. So, but that's just talking about this. It's not talking about me. I can't self-isolate because I'm not in the born world. I'm the unborn. You're the unborn. We're the unborn. There's only the unborn. It really is that simple. And there's this and nothing else. And there's no, what we're trying to do is here today is we're trying to wake up to this. Okay? We're just trying to move from blindly struggling along to moving into a state called conscious awakeness. It's not really a state. It's just what you are. It's the natural. If you want to call it a state, okay, it's the natural state. But it's not really a state. It's just the way things are. But when you believe that you're one of these, then you hatch up all sorts of shoulds and shouldn'ts. And what you notice is that the moment there's believe that there's a me here, you'll find that this world is not satisfactory. I mean, it's all right, but there shouldn't be any of that, right? There shouldn't be any virus. We all know that, except for me. I have no idea. I mean, I noticed there is one, so I possibly evidence that there should be one. I don't know. I don't want to judge it. I'm not that smart, but I'm never going to put my back up and resist what is. So that's a losing proposition. Now, you get in an argument with God, you're going to lose. You get in an argument with reality, you're going to lose every time. So our job here is to find out some way to get on board with what is. The only problem is that there's no one here to get on board with what is. There's only what is. So what we want to do here is we want what is to notice that there's only what is. See, plenty of people coming to me knowing that there's no Bob, there's no Carol, there's no Susan, no whatever. Perfectly fine. I understand that. I went through that for years myself. Only problem is that ain't close to awakening. That's just self-hypnosis that you're close to awakening as a result of that. You're really just an educated seeker at that point, but you're, educated, which is kind of nice if you're into education. But what I'm really into is the lack of education, meaning that I really like being stupid. Because when I'm stupid like this, hell, I don't even know that things shouldn't be the way they are. And as far as I can tell, things are fine. Because there's no alternative, see? There's no comparison to it. There's what is. And you may think it's not much, but what is all there is. There's not another what is, and there's not more what is. There's just this what is. And you think that you are isolated, and when you believe that you are what is plus imagination, then you cast yourself into the role of an isolated human being. And nothing could be further from the truth. But I understand your experience is one. And so let me talk to that human being for a minute. I'm just talking to myself. I'm just talking to awakeness. But so you understand it better, let's pretend I'm talking from a human being to a human being. And what I want to tell the so-called human being over there is that you will never have a better opportunity in your entire life to notice true nature than right now. Now, I could have said that a year ago, and I could say it a year from now. Because there's never a better time than right now, because that's the only time you can wake up is right now. So if you're planning on waking up soon, forget it. It won't happen. If you're planning on waking up down the line, not going to happen. You'll wake up now or never. You'll wake up here or nowhere. But there really is no waking up for you. They're just noticing. See, that human being over there, we're pretending that's what you are. That human being over there has been floundering around on the planet for 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 years, I don't know. And it's been looking for the for what it's missing. Say, how you've been looking all your life for what's been missing. Have you noticed that you can't find what's missing? You name it. You name it money, sex, approval, power, cars, houses, relationships, beautiful partners. You give this what's missing different names, but you never find it. Because as soon as you do find it, what you're going to notice is this is really nice. This is really nice. And you know, but it's just not quite enough for a guy like me. Right? I mean, at some point, it has to be recognized that you've hit the lottery. You've actually hit the lottery. That's right. But the problem is that you haven't turned your ticket in. See, if you win the lottery and you don't notice that you've won the lottery, there's no difference in that experience and the experience of not winning the lottery. And you have won the lottery. You really have won in a big way, because not only have you ended up in this situation as a so-called human being where you're being forced to reevaluate everything you've ever known, but you're being given the extra help of sitting in front of this unit. Now, there's nothing special about this unit, nothing. It's not even a, you know, it wasn't even a good unit. It wasn't a clean unit. It wasn't a, you know, like I never got purified or anything like that. I don't even know what they're talking about when they talk about that. Getting purified so that we can wake. Getting the body purified so that we can wake up. No, the body ain't got to be purified to wake up, because the body ain't never going to wake up. And if you think you're the body, you're toast. You think that body's going to wake up. You think that who you think you are, the term in terms of the character, the Bob, the Susan, the Joanne, the Fred, the Tom, is going to wake up. You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely, matter of fact, what you are is crazy. So you're insane if you believe that you are not this. It doesn't feel like you're insane. Some of you are sitting over there going, listen to this guy, he's insane. I understand that. I understand why. Because when I was a kid, what I was taught is that if you think you're sane, but everybody else says you're insane, you're probably insane. But if you think you're not insane and everybody else says you are, you're probably insane. But what I want to tell you is that doesn't count in this one field. Because what I notice is that everybody is out of step but Johnny. And the only people I can wake up are crazy people. Because even, I don't care how good you are, how nice you are, how sweet you are, how pure you are, if you don't know who you are, then you are crazy. And that's on a relative level, that unit's crazy. It really is. Because it thinks it's in danger because of the coronavirus. Nothing could be further from the truth. You can't die. I mean, hell, you're the unborn. How is the unborn going to figure out even how to die? Right? I mean, you're trying it with this virus. It ain't working on you. It's working on these units pretty well. No question about that, but it's not working on you at all. You can't get sick. You can't die. You actually can't suffer, but you like to experience suffering, apparently a great deal, because this is a planet that's full of it. and you seem to be having a really good time doing it. I mean, you've been around here, what, hundreds of thousands of years, in some form or another, millions of years, and hell, you're still not waking up as conscious awakeness. So, I mean, I'm going to suggest that may not be a mistake. Hell, that might be your plan. Except for the fact there's no you there to plan it because there's no driver to the bus. But you will understand that I have to refer to something, that I'm trapped by language. So I'm going to call you you. Because I don't know what you are, wouldn't know how else to put it. But you can't suffer. And if you're worried about your grandmother dying of coronavirus, I get it. I understand. I don't mean to make light of that. I really don't. You're worried for your family. I don't make light of that at all. I'm quite concerned about mine, but I'm not worried. When I say concerned, what does it mean? It means I've taken prudent measures to ensure their safety and well-being. Does that ensure their safety and well-being? Hell no. Makes me feel better, right? I've been the good dad, so to speak. Got a little brown dog down there. I was 18 pounds of pure love. Absolutely pure love him back. I don't want anything to ever happen to him. But one day, that little brown dog down there, that 18 pounds of love, will turn into 0 pounds of vapor. He really will. And it'll break my heart, but I'm hoping he'll outlive me. Although he probably won't live another 10 years, but he might. He might live another 10 years or so. I'd be happy with 10 years. I hope I go before he goes. That's the truth. I don't want to go through that. Because I will think I'm suffering. I will think I'm a human being that's lost my dog friend, and there's going to be suffering. I mean, I could. I don't actually know what would happen. I might be able to see through the whole thing. I went through one dog death being able to see through the entire thing. But I've been through others where I haven't. Cat death too. But I just did that for entertainment, I guess, because actually I can't have a dog or a cat. I can't have anything because I am everything. And I can't have everything because I am nothing. I'm nothing and I'm everything, but whatever it is that I am, I'm not in isolation. And not in self-isolation, or either I have always been in self-isolation. Either way you want to just run with that, I don't care. It's kind of technical. But you're fine. You're fine everywhere but your imagination. Or even if you're in bed with coronavirus and you're listening to this, or hell, you could be in bed with tuberculosis, or you could be in bed paralyzed. I mean, I get all kinds of emails. You may have found out this afternoon that you have terminal cancer. Well, you know, everybody else is terminal too. You just have a better idea when you're going, right? And that could drive you crazy if you really thought that you could die, but you can't. You're not that unit. That unit can have all the cancer it wants. It's not going to hurt you. You will lose a channel, so to speak, like a TV channel. You will lose not like a big cosmic channel, like a TV channel. And but I noticed that channels are arriving on the planet faster than they are leaving it. So at some point, we're going to have all the channel we can stand. We may already be at that point, and this could be the Earth's solution. See, this could be the blind solution, because the Earth's not in charge of this either. There's nobody in charge of this. There's just this. And we can say with some degree of truth that this is happening and you're watching. This is happening, you're watching. So when we watch a television show or a movie, we may not want them to split up and run through the graveyard, go through the graveyard. Let's split up, take the shortcut through the graveyard. We may feel like that's a terrible idea and we can't stop them. And we may think that these two should get together in this movie and they get born for each other. For God's sake, why doesn't he see what she is offering him? And We can't do a damn thing. They will get together or they won't. Usually they will get together and then maybe they won't later. But it's whatever happens, happens. And it happens exactly as it was supposed to happen because it happens as it happens. There's no supposed. There's just this. There's just what is as it is right now. And you're not sick, and you're never going to come out of isolation. Right? You can make a world traveler out of that unit. It's never coming out of self-isolation. Take it from somebody who's been in self-isolation for years now. I've been in one form or another of self-isolation for 14 years and counting, I think. And I have been in another form of self-isolation, meaning the unit's really been in self-isolation pretty much for the last 7 or 8 years. It's not bad. I rather like it. It's quiet. It's quiet. Now, it's not quiet when I get on here and talk to people, but I only get on here and talk to people when I want to. I don't do anything that I don't want to do, and neither do you. Because I don't do anything, and neither do you. I'm watching this is happening. I'm watching this is happening. But I'm not controlling this, and I'm not controlling this. I'm not a entity. I don't know what I am, but I do know, I can tell you clearly what I'm not. But I'm that which is prior to consciousness, I can tell you that. I am actually the boiling cauldron, and consciousness is the steam. And one thing you'll notice about steam is it can take any shape, and it's really very shortly lived. Doesn't last long. It comes, it goes. The cauldron cannot control the steam. The steam cannot control the cauldron. There's just cauldron and steam. This is steam talking to steam until, just for now, until we go back in the cauldron. But when we're in the cauldron, we're not self-isolated then either. There's no experience of the cauldron because the cauldron is the void. And there's nothing in the void for us to experience. So somebody that wants to tell you they have been to the void and that wants to tell you about their experience, they're going to tell you a character's memory of something that happened outside of space and time. You can't put that in words. They'll use the best words they can. And even if they're awake right now, they will still, in this moment, they will still know that they are not telling you the truth, but they're trying. They're doing just like I am. They're lying to the best of their ability. I was a natural born liar, and God just hired me to do this. I'm going to lie. I may as well do it for a good cause. Right? I don't want to keep you because, but just the one message today is that you're not self-isolated, and you can't be self-isolated because you're not that unit. You are awakeness itself. You are oneness. And this oneness that you're in, which is the only oneness there is actually just fine. We don't have one virus too many. We have one character too many. That's the truth. And we don't really have the character. We just kind of believe that we have the character until we come to see that we do not. So it's been nice talking to you. Thank you for joining me in my self-isolation, my terrible self-isolation. And I hope to see you soon. Come see me in Satsang. Satsang will help you out with that so-called self-isolation, I'll tell you that. We've got a very, very warm, we got 2 warm groups, because we got a big warm group on Sundays, and we got a smaller one on Wednesdays, because it hadn't been around as long. But they're wonderful people in both of them, and there's more than one awakened being in there are lots more in Sunday and some more in Wednesday, other than just this one, because this is, it's not really an awakened being. It's not a being at all, but it's just the language that we use. Really, this is just awakeness talking to awakeness. And right now, I'm signing off. So, see ya.